Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. So good to see everybody here. Couple people
My
joined
headphones
me.
aren't working.
Hello.
I can't hear you.
Can't hear me? Uh-oh. Can you hear me? You can't hear me? What? No audio?
I can't hear you.
Oh, no. That's no good. Well, let me see here. Oh, did you? Okay. That should work. Can you hear me now? Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Can you hear
Okay.
me?
Yes, I can. I'm going to plug in my headphones and see if I can do that.
Okay,
Thanks.
so you can hear me now.
But for right now, but hold on, I unplugged my headphones. I'm going to try my headphones again.
Suzanne, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
You can hear me? I can't hear you.
You can't hear me.
Shoot.
Okay.
Oh well, we'll do it without him. All right, we'll do it without him.
Looks like I got a chat coming in here.
That was me.
Okay, good. You can hear me.
Yeah.
Excellent. Great. Well, we're giving a little bit of time here for some people to come in. It's only 2 after, so I know maybe some people were just a little bit disappointed because last week the recording did not go through, which was, yeah, that was a challenge.
It's
But learning these navigation of technology is, yeah, it's definitely been a learning for everyone. So now we are recording. I can see that it is recording, and we should be good to go. Did you all get the email that I sent?
I did just a little while ago.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I sent an email to everyone with a new, it was a guided imagery meditation that
Oh,
we,
I didn't see that.
yeah, so I actually, we worked on it today, recording it and writing it, and came out pretty nice. So I would encourage you to go there and check it out when you get a chance. And let's
Oh,
see.
I see it at the bottom of the page.
Yeah,
Okay.
Cynthia is here. He's coming
Zoom.
in. Very good. Perfect. So we'll give everyone a couple more minutes here to get into the room, and we will start very shortly. So it has been such a fast moving week this week. I can't believe how fast time has gone by. It's like I just blink and it's, yeah, it's already Wednesday. Been really trying to focus on so much of the Sacred Seven. It's just there's some other opportunities that have opened up with my coaching clients, and some people from California have been really promoting me. So I got a couple new clients, and then we did a drum circle. I don't know if any of you were able to see it, but it came out really good. Yeah, it was great. We did one for the Brain Injury Alliance of Arizona, so that was fun. And now we have another one coming up here in, I think, another week or so. We'll do another one. But they had us do this television interview, and that was pretty cool. And got in a little bit of camping, or actually going to the lake too, just to refresh. So I've been meaning to record the PowerPoint presentation of the East and also the Divine Masculine this week. Just didn't come together. So I'm hoping that in the next couple days, I will get the Divine Masculine done and then upload it to YouTube so everybody can have that reference point going forward. Having those YouTube files online will be really beneficial to everyone as they want to revisit the process. Also, learning to record the guided imagery meditation has really opened up a lot of opportunities, but I'm really not that proficient. It's a huge learning curve on any of these applications. Audacity being the programming that I'm using to record the audio files and the guided imagery. But let me know how it came out. Send me an email once you're able to visit that audio file, and please give me your feedback on it. This group has really been my testing of this process of doing it online, and then also opening up to a broader idea and concept within the Sacred Seven. So I wanted to also talk here briefly before we go into the container. I'm just going to give a couple more minutes for people to show up, and then we'll go ahead and go into it. Since it is recording, I feel confident that we can send it to the members of the group that aren't here right now. Oh, Elizabeth is here trying to get in the room. Perfect. Great. So I was sharing that this one is absolutely 100% being recorded. But we're still working on doing the Divine Masculine. The Divine Feminine has been downloaded onto YouTube. And there are some processes there where running each of the journeys is really, it's work. And setting aside that time and trying to manage drumming sounds and also the coaching business has been a little bit challenging this week, but I'm sure that next week we will get those two up for everyone. So I did send the group, all 19 members of the group, because even there's only been 5 or so of us here online, there's actually 19 people that have been registered for this. So they get emails and I correspond with them throughout the entire experience. So I've been sending the uploaded video presentations to them so that they can participate as well, and hoping that we'll get some more feedback from all of the experience. And then also, I wanted to share that as we go forward in the process of really grounding into this community of the Sacred Seven, I wanted to share a little bit about my vision of where the direction would go with this process, and that is to one day hopefully have a facilitator training where people that are interested in this technology of ceremonial introduction would be able to go through that process and utilize it in their own groups. So that's kind of the visionary space of where I would like to go with the whole process. And of course, you all are so valuable to me because this is the first time that I've ever done a group setting, so there's been a lot of learning. It's about 8 after now. The fireplace is lit here. I did light the coal. And I feel comfortable going, if all of you do, of just getting into the presentation now. I don't
Yeah, that's
know
fine.
who else is going to get on here, but I know we have 5 people here right now, and Monica, I'm sure, is going to come in here very soon. So that'll be 6. It would be nice to have 7. Right? Anyway, I wanted to share a little bit about those ideas and visions that I'm holding in my heart for all of you as a part of this group, and also for the expanse of the Sacred Seven in the community and the service work. So I'll go ahead and say a prayer here, introduce myself, and then we can all do our ceremonial introductions as we go into this space. So this week is an exciting week. It's the East. We're doing the call to the East, and that is a very important container for me. And I'm sure as we begin to journey into this space that we'll all understand its importance in our lives and how powerful this representation and understanding of self really is. So I'm going to see here if I can grab Monica in here, see if she's ready to come in and sit down with us. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and pray anyway. Give her a little bit of time to come in. So if you all had a chance to, just a little side note, if you had a chance to check out the prayer today on my Facebook page, I read a kind of a spiritual invocation from Natsamvaya, who is a traditional Hopi healer. He sent it to me. It's his understanding of Hopi spirituality, and it's very powerful for me to step into that place. So if you're interested, it's on my Facebook page, and you'll see it up there. It would be today's prayers and encouragement. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pray and open up this space here. Put this cedar down here for all of us. Father, Mother, Creator, Source, we thank you for this opportunity to be in this prayer place that was founded before the creation of time. We thank you for the above place, the below place, the inside place, the east, the south, the west, the north, and all the holy ones that are there, the Gan, the Kachina, the Yebache. We thank you, Creator, for the holy light, angel light beings of this land that we inhabit, and also the lands of my relatives that are joining us here on this Zoom call. We thank you for this ceremony and this opportunity to be here in this prayer place. And we loosen ourselves from all the distractions, all limiting beliefs, and we allow ourselves to step into the honoring of who we are individually. Beauty above, beauty below, beauty beside, beauty in front, beauty behind, beauty within. We are made beautiful again. So I'll go ahead and introduce myself here to all of you in the traditional language as best as I can, and then also in the contemporary language, and then we'll go around and do our introductions. So Dogate, Andrew Ecker, Yinishe, Adonde E, Nishinigi E, Ide Nishe, Irish Bashachin, Ide Dashache, German Dashanali, Kote Go E Tishli E, Portland, Oregon, Inasha, Shema E, Kathy Lindsay Woye, Shaza E, Del Ecker Wole. My name is Andrew Ecker, my mother, Kathy Lindsay, my father, Dale Ecker. My mother's mother, Elva Gallegos, Apache woman from New Mexico. My father's mother, Evelyn Beatty, an Irish woman from Pennsylvania. My mother's father, Leroy Lindsay, Apache man from Arkansas. My father's father, Wayne Ecker, German and Algonquin from Pennsylvania. I have a daughter, Bailey, a son, Peyton, a beautiful, beloved fiance, Monica. I'm very grateful to be here with all of you. Thank you so much for joining in this ceremony and being a part of this community. It's really grounded in right now, just, releasing the feelings of anticipation and just being in the present moment. Aho. So here on the list of participants, if I go from my name down, we'll go to Cynthia next. Cynthia, are you ready to introduce yourself here?
Hi, yes, just a moment. I am still getting settled. Hi, everyone.
Beautiful. Good to see you.
Nice to see you too. My name is Cynthia Gutierrez. My mother is Evangelina Arellano, excuse me, and my father, Alberto Gutierrez. My mother's mother, Eva Sepulveda. My father's mother, Emma Gutierrez. No, excuse me, Emma Guerrero. My mother's father, Luis Arellano, and my father's father, Carlos Gutierrez.
Oh.
Thank you.
Bless it. Bless it. And Elizabeth Kimberly would be next. Oh, hey, there you are. Beautiful. Oh, there you go.
Okay, Elizabeth, you're next. Okay. I'm Elizabeth Donnelly, my mother's mother, Kimberly Donnelly, and then my father is Stephen Donnelly, or Kimberly, I'm sorry, and my mother's father, Jack Dunn, my mother's mother, Diane Harris, my father's father, Frank Donnelly, and my father's mother, Patricia Donnelly.
Oh. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay, we'll see if we can get this good this time.
Good.
I am Kimberly Donnelly. My mother's name is Diane Louise Harris. My father's name is Jack Edward Dunn. My mother's mother is May Rose Harris. My father's mother is Dorothy Collum. My mother's father is Jack Gordon Harris, and my father's father is Henry Clarence Dunn. And I have my daughter who you met, Elizabeth Donald.
Oh, blessings. Blessings. Thank you.
Yes.
And Suzanne.
Hi, I am Suzanne Alia Waji. My mother, Judith Rachel Potter. My father is Kamal Hazem Waji. My mother's mother is Alice Agnes Weichert, German English from Elizabeth, New Jersey.
Oh.
My father's mother is Alia Salim Abu Auf, Hijazi woman from Jordan. My mother's father is Chester Potter from Harrison, New Jersey, Italian. And my father's father is Hazim Kamal Waji, Turkish man from Jordan. My daughter, Lily Layan, my son, Lucas Cesare, and my loving husband, Timothy Lee Peterson. And I'm grateful to be here.
Beautiful. Blessings. Blessings, blessings. And Michelle.
Yes, I am Michelle Nitty Hosak. My mother is Patricia Othel Turrentine. My father is Gilbert Ray Hosak. My mother's mother is Lottie Turrentine. My mother's father is Jack Turrentine. My mother's mother is Lottie Bacon. And then my father's mother is Virginia Wright. Spelled with a W, R-I-G-H-T. And my father's father is Harry Hosak, and my grandmother on my mother's side came from a tobacco farm in Georgia, and I don't know, the rest of them family is from the Northeast. Feels like I should know this. But then I also have not introduced my son into this, and his name is Alexander Gray Rosado. His father is from Belize. He is also got my granddaughter, Arrow Ray Rosado. And blessed be.
Oh. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Blessings. Blessings. It's so awesome to be in this ceremony with all of you and to ground into the authenticity of each and every one that's present here. It really reminds me of the importance of who we are and how we live up to that potential just by being. Um, there's a comfort in that for me today and in my life, and knowing that I matter, without all the behaviors, without all of the distractions in a certain sense, without all of the accomplishments, and also all the failures, that I'm someone. And I feel that in each one of you as you introduce yourselves, and I learn more about you, and I feel into the presence of the authenticity of who you are. It's so beautifully rewarding and so powerfully poetic to know who we are in this day and age of so many distractions. it's just, it's really fundamentally, for me, purposeful to activate this simplicity of introduction and also this ceremony. So I'm very excited tonight because we step into the mother's mother, the first of the physical directions. And she's in the East as a guiding visionary, as a placeholder in our relationship to new people. And this place of the East is a place that is very comfortable for some of us, and yet for others it's a practice. It's a practice in really stepping into the East and allowing ourselves to be there with who we are to new people, so that we may find the new blessing, find the newness of life. So I'll go ahead and open up the presentation here. Let me see if I can find it. There it is. And we'll go into this space now. So, right, and this is Grandmother East, the place of our matriarchal grandmother. She's the one, the mother's mother. And in the traditional way of understanding clan identity, this would actually be who you are born from. So when we introduce ourselves in the sweat lodge or in maybe a plant-based, in a plant ceremony or any kind of ceremony, who you are born from is your mother's mother. Who you are born to is your father's mother. And this place of connecting to this is really such a beautiful opportunity for us to realize who we are to new people. So Monica just arrived to the ceremony, and I think she would like to introduce herself here, I'm pretty sure. So we've been having some emotions come up. One of Monica's best friends in the whole world that's been with her for many years is really going through a transition right now. She's actually letting go of her body and allowing for cancer to take her to the next trip. So Monica's been dealing with that, and just hold space for her and understanding that she's here now, and we're very grateful that you're here, you know, and all your tears and all of your heart. We just love you. So would you like to introduce yourself to the space? Would you like to hold the feather? You can hold the feather.
Yeah, don't twist the feather.
Yeah, don't twist the feather.
My name is Monica. My mother's name is Catherine. My father's name is Monty. My mother's mother, Leah. My father's mother, Josephine. My mother's father, Ray. My father's father, Frank. I have 3 children, Caitlin, Brennan, and Tyler. An amazing fiance named Andrew.
Oh, beautiful. Yes, bless it. So we are here in the East now, awaiting grandmother's guidance. And as I was sharing with all of you, the East holds that representation of self, of who we are born from, the mother's mother, the womb in which your mother manifested. This is the lineage of the matriarchal. This is the identity of who we really are. Very powerful connection we have to the East. Very powerful connection to our matriarchal grandmother. Thank you for being here, Monica. So grateful. And we step into the East now, allowing for that ceremonial process of connecting to the East, the place of new relationships. So this is the guidance of our matriarchal grandmother. She's the one that rests there. She's a gateway to new relationships. And she is our representation of who we are to the East. As we introduce ourselves in our ceremony here tonight, this guiding representation of self in our mother's mother, and actually in the Jewish lineage as well, it would be the mother's mother that would be your identity of being Jewish. In many of the matriarchal systems around the world, the feminine is always honored in that place. And we honor her now, Grandmother East, in this great way of recognizing ourselves through her. And I'm very excited to go into this container and open up the process for all of us. So the journey will begin with the doorway to the east. This is the place of the dawning sun, the newness of relationships. In this place, all relationships are influenced by this guidance, because all relationships at some point in our lives are new. It's very powerful to understand that really newness is one of the foundations of reality, right? That change is a constant. We are constantly being renewed in the cycles of life. We can find freedom from the captivity of the old nature within us, the addictive patterns, the patterns of emotional inability, the patterns of emotional immaturity, those places inside of ourselves that struggle to be illuminated and brought forth, that we may transform the density of that energy and find clarity. The dawn allows us to understand that. And it is so beautiful to allow ourselves the peace and the comfort of knowing the cycles, knowing the transformational energy of the East. I really find a knowing in just allowing myself to put myself consciously in the East. There's a certain level of peace that flows through me. It's one of my practices to wake with the dawning of the sun and to use those fibers. In fact, I did this morning. There's fibers of sun that come out in the East. And it's like these fibers are drawing me in and proclaiming the newness to me at the same time. It's a very powerful experience, and I would encourage all of us to tomorrow awake with the rising sun and introduce yourself to that new dawning sun. And then if you want to further the practice, put your hands out like this and wash your face in the rays of the sun, in the dawning sun. Very beautiful experience to have. In this place, we are granting ourselves permission to journey to the east, to allow the new opportunities. We release our limits and we step into the limitless manifestation of those relationships that will bless us in the east. And this is an important part of the process. Oh, we have someone coming in now, and I don't know who that is. It looks like it's a phone number. Should we try to admit them? I don't know who they are. All right, I guess we'll let them in. We'll let them in. I don't know who you are because your name is not shown. So, in the limitless manifestation of those relationships, we allow ourselves to be blessed in the East, awakening the idea that we can release ourselves from the concepts that keep us from walking into those blessings. What does it mean to be paralyzed to new relationships? What does it mean to be in a place where we stop allowing ourselves newness? These are the confusion of the illusion that separate us from Grandmother East. Grandmother East is there, allowing her hand to be outstretched with every dawning of every day. The newness of opportunity allows itself to manifest. This is what happens when we let go of the limiting beliefs and we step into the limitless nature that is inside of all of us. That God knowing, that spiritual knowing inside of us, that there is a plan to prosper us exceedingly and abundantly above anything that we can ever hope or imagine. We rest in that knowing in the East. And this is the call. And it is also a place in which we can begin to design and fathom that understanding within the perspective of the East. So I'm going to invite us all now to go into the place in which we begin to connect to the guided imagery, the place in which we allow ourselves to rest in the East. And I feel like let's see. Here we go. Apparently one of the slides got misplaced on the slide reel. And the last slide, we jumped to the last slide somehow. So in this place, we're allowing ourselves to go into the journey. We're seeking the wisdom of the grandmother. And in this place of this guided imagery and in the meditation, we're allowing her to manifest in any vehicle that she would like to. So remember, the gateway to the East, the doorway to the East is the manifestation. Yet in this place and in the guided imagery, we allow ourselves to journey through any vehicle that she wishes to manifest herself. So we're giving permission to that, to allow for that infinite intelligence to manifest itself in that knowing.
For example, my grandmother comes through to me as a hummingbird.
Did you all hear that? Did you hear Monica? Okay, good. So you may have a totem set aside for your grandmother, and you can ask her to be inside of that totem for you. You can hold space for that manifestation. And these are the ways that the dream actually becomes part of the waking dream, is when we step into the reality of knowing that it is through our manifestation, it is through our gifts, that we can acknowledge the principles of this frequency of manifestation, that inside of our internal spatial energy, that there is a displacement and a manifestation of that which serves us. And we are in a place of understanding that control system and that great knowing that we practicing in our abilities. So we're going to step into this place now, and I just invite you to feel the earth underneath you. Remind yourself you're supported. Go into this place with that knowing, allowing yourself to relax now. Softly closing your eyes, feeling the earth underneath you, reminding yourself you're supported. relaxing into the weight of your body, feeling the connection to Mother Earth, giving yourself permission to relax. Focusing on your breath, feeling into the inhale and the exhale. This is your place of deep relaxation. Imagining now that your connection to the earth is like the roots of a tree. A beautiful tree planted by the streams of water. Your tree has found the source of life. You have found the source of life. In this place, you are grounded into the earth. In this place, you have a foundation. You have a connection. Allowing for your consciousness and your connection to bring forward the gift of relaxation now. Expanding your relaxation to the very tip of your toes. And now allowing that relaxation and your conscious connection to move to your ankles. Giving your feet permission to relax. Now moving this conscious connection of relaxation gently through your body to your calves, your knees, your thighs, breathing into the release of any tension in your legs, releasing the tension on the exhale. Now your hips, relaxing the hips. Moving your conscious connection of relaxation gently through the body. Allowing for this conscious connection of relaxation to move through the spine. Entering at the base of your spine, moving through the vertebrae. As you release the tension in your spine, you allow for your consciousness to move into the internal organs of your body now, consciously connecting to relaxation. Moving through the internal organs of your body now, relaxing all of the internal organs and giving your body's systems permission relaxing the bones and the skeletal system, relaxing the nervous system, relaxing the respiratory system, the digestive system, the circulatory system. Now all the systems of the body are relaxed and working in perfect balance. As you continue to move your conscious connection of relaxation through your body, you are reminded that this is your greatest prosperity, to give your body permission to heal. In this place, your body is relaxed and healed. You are feeling whole. Your conscious connection is now moving through the tips of your have permission to journey together and to know that there is a ring of light and safety around us at all times. In this circle of light, you are protected and safe at all times. You may invite a guide to be here with you as we journey together, relaxing into the space inside. You are now realizing that all knowledge and all wisdom is accessible to you in this place. I would like you to imagine feeling your bare feet connected to the coolness of the earth. Imagine your bare feet now, feeling the support of Mother Earth. I invite you to see the perfectness of your toes. Imagining now that in this connection to the earth, you are designing a perfect place for a meeting. This meeting is meant to be fun, safe, and informative. You are resting in the place of your mind's design. We allow ourselves to access the senses. And we begin by smelling the fragrance of this place, allowing the aroma of perfection to become real to you. Feel your skin warmed by the presence of perfection. In this place, your body feels completely light, beautiful, and connected. Your soul has held this place for this meeting since the dawn of awareness. And now the fulfillment of lifetimes fills you with the comfort as you feel the sensations all around you. Realize that there is a comforting presence now. This comforting presence feels tangible and real to you. As if there is a knowing inside of this place. You begin to focus your eyes in the place of your vision, off into the distance, in which you see emerging from the east an ancestor. In the haze of your mind's eye, you call them closer. As they emerge, you realize that this is a familiar figure. Grandmother East has come to you. Your matriarchal grandmother has shown herself in a new and perfect way. Here in this meeting place, the light of your consciousness has created her, perfect and whole, just as you have always wanted, just as you have always needed. She is free from all of the limitations of her physical body. She is spirit and truth, filled with love and wisdom. As you feel into her presence, you realize that she has granted you counsel with the East. And you are here to learn from her teachings. Feel and listen now into the teachings and the gifts of Grandmother East, as she reveals to you the hidden treasure of your perfect beauty and your limitless potential in this incarnation. And just giving yourself permission to feel into your body and feel the earth underneath you again, and maybe move your toes and your fingers a little bit. Just invite you to come back home, come back to the perfection of who you are. And I know that for me, this container is definitely a big one for me. And feeling into Elva Gallegos, my grandmother, how she set so much of my spirituality. She really was the first one to teach me anything about prayer or anything like that. You know, and how I relate to the world, really, a lot of it comes from her. My Spanish speaking Native American grandmother grew up in a adobe house with a dirt floor in New Mexico. Think about her humble life and how everything was always fine. You know, that's kind of what she said all the time. No matter the cancer was taking over her body, or you know, my mom was out using, or any of those things, everything was still fine. You know, this really comes through strong for me tonight, and I think about who I am in the newness of the day, who I am to new people, and that idea of there's so much limitless potential out there in those relationships, and the excitement of that. You know, like how many people are waiting out there to connect with me and to become my friend, to share in music or in creativity or all the awesome opportunities that await. Life is filled with that newness. How are you resting in the place?
Well, physically, I never knew my mom's mom. Never might be a strong word, but if I did, I don't remember her. I never saw my mom's side of the family again after she left when I was 4, so I don't remember meeting her. I don't remember meeting any of them. I guess that's not entirely true. I did meet her son, my half brother, when I was, well, we don't need to, but about about 8 years ago or 10 years ago now, I did meet him. I had met him before though. I grew up with him before then, and I did remember him because he was like, I think he was 7 when she left, so we had spent a little bit of time together. Not a lot, but it was meaningful to me. And then, yeah, that I remember, I never met my mom's mom. Actually, I didn't even know what her name was until a couple years ago after I started doing the Sacred 7. I had to figure that out, which was like a rude awakening. But yeah, I had to figure that out. And she was an alcoholic, from what I've heard. And not very kind to my mom. Just not a very happy person. But that's secondhand information. Third hand, really, comes from my dad's side of the family. So, and then also my brother, he did remember my grandma, and his memories of her were of her being an alcoholic and mean. And so in my imagination with my mom's mom before I reconnected with my brother, of course she was wonderful. You know, she was like the grandma that my dad was keeping me away from. But she was wonderful, and she would come, and my mom would come, and they would, in my imagination, and they would come and save me, and we would have this wonderful life. So it was really shocking to me to hear anything bad about her, because from 4 till whatever 32 or 33, I had built this image of her in my mind that was just saintly. So when I first got information about her, I was very disgruntled. At first, I just didn't believe. I was angry at the people that told me that. Thought they were lying and they had ulterior motives, and it was just really challenging to. After all those years of a certain belief, it was very challenging to kind of refocus. But then I did accept that. I did accept the stories, and then I just kind of literally got over it again. I never met this woman. She's been gone a long time. A long time. And so how did it serve me to believe all this hearsay about her, about a woman I never met? So I wouldn't say she's a saint in my mind anymore, but she's definitely not the asshole they made her out to be either. I feel.
Do you have a totem or something you use for her to come through in your life, in your physical life?
No.
Nothing for her.
That's unusual for me.
Yeah, it's very unusual.
I have things for my son that passed, a turtle. My grandma's a hummingbird. My Uncle Glenn. Uncle Lee's still here. My Uncle Glenn is a monarch, which started when I was 7. My grandpa, or 9, my grandpa's a bumblebee, which started, the family stories about that started when I was 7. Like, I've had totems from my family since I was 7 years old, and I lost my first family member. I don't have anything for her. I don't have an association with her. I've never seen a picture of her. I didn't realize that until just this second, actually.
Is there some feelings of grief coming up right now
Yeah,
for you?
I don't even know what color her eyes were.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I've never.
You know, she's here with us. Obviously, we're holding the container for her, and maybe this is a.
And I feel like there's, because I found out that she was an alcoholic and she wasn't that good to my mom, and because my mom was in an institution for 30 years, and I need someone to blame for that sometimes. I feel like since I found that out, just feeling into my body right now, like these weren't conscious thoughts a minute ago, but feeling into my body right now, I feel like she contributed to my mom's unbalance and the not so happy life she lived. So I feel some resentment that I didn't really think that I had there. Maybe a little bit of work that needs done around it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I mean, how do you go from thinking someone's a saint to hearing they're the devil to just being like cool with it? So I thought I did that, but that doesn't really exist. I didn't really do the work around. I felt into her being the devil or whatever, or being bad, but I didn't really do the work around bringing her back to level. But I felt like I said, until just a minute ago, I felt like it was all fine and good. But as I feel into that space, I feel like I have some resentment towards her for my mom, and I definitely just felt into some hurt about not knowing what she looks like, which is a lot of progress since the first time I did my introduction.
You know, my
yeah.
grandmother was like a saint in my eyes, and yet there's a part of me that feels into that process as well because of the way my mom turned out, right? That maybe there was a void there, you know, that I didn't know. Maybe there was something going on there. Yet it's like I feel that in the pre-existence they made that agreement to manifest so that we could have the medicine of that experience, so that you could be the woman that you are in community, that you could feel into that space. And
that's not necessarily my belief. Like, I guess my belief just doesn't really like go to that space. I'm not sure about that. I am sure, based on life experience and the ability to look at things from, you know, um, look back on things and to see a fuller perspective of things. I am sure that everything that's happened in my life has led to this. I can see all the connections. I'm not saying like what you said isn't true at all. I'm just saying like like that's because that's not part of my necessarily my belief system. It's still challenging for me to. I can see how it's affected my life and then the person it's made me, and how this knowledge of certain things has definitely helped me, even like through the pain and stuff later on. I me, like, I'm always a gratitude finder, and not by bypass, by genuine experience with wow, this really helped. But as far as saying like my mom agreed to have that life, I'm not in that space. That hurts to even.
Yeah.
Like, because like.
And I think that for me, it's like the internalization of the gift that I have through my service. It's not so much about her as much as it is what I have.
Sure.
What
I love
I have,
what that belief is for you.
Yeah, and what it's done for me in my life. And that's, you know, the selfishness of understanding that I've created it. You know, that I made the agreement to manifest this life.
Right.
And that kind of self-centered viewpoint of me being at the center of the universe has allowed for me to have a perspective that serves me, yeah, and it helps me through the struggles of.
Well, and who else is at the center of your universe?
Well, exactly. Yeah, you know.
If there's anybody else, that's you're bullshitting yourself.
Yeah. Right? Like,
yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
And so like I'm not in disagreement with that. Like if her heard you say that a bazillion times, and I see the way that it impacts your life. And
Yeah.
and that's what I was trying to share. I guess like my realization of the connection of it all, um, like really feeling and seeing that in the past. That's only been the last 5 years. Before that, I was a complete victim of everything. But in the past 5 years, I've been able to see like how it all interconnects, and I literally give my life over to that in a way, like that.
Well, it's the excitement of also
So
practicing the service
like,
too, right?
Like to have this immense. I've always had a lot of empathy, but have like these specific kind of downloads, I guess, of empathy because of this situation, because my son was killed by a drunk driver, because my mom was in a mental institution for 30 years, because my dad was a drug addict and an alcoholic, and my stepmom hit me, and like this guy was this, like all the shit that I went through, like it helps me so much in my service. It's like there's no way I could serve in the way that I do if that hadn't have all happened. So like those connections like make sense to me.
Yeah.
Does that say, oh, that's right?
Yeah.
But so I see that, but I don't like, I'm not necessarily to a space where I'm like, I chose that before I was born. Like that one's still a little bit like,
yeah,
maybe not for me, but I'm still there.
We get there together.
I'm still there in a different way. Right?
We can get there together. Yeah, you are there
yeah. So,
and I was there too.
We all have our own
like when I
but
but the liberation came when I really felt into it, and you've seen me feel into it.
Yeah.
You know what comes to mind is that ceremony in Rainbow when I was in that tent and I was sharing the Sacred Seven, and I was like snot bubble crying in front of a crowd of hippies that I'd never even met before. That's what the joy is of the release for me, in like saying my mom gave me this gift.
Yeah, and I just get there in different.
And I understand it. I mean, it's more, I feel that gift too. Like when I go out to the hospitals and I'm working with people, or I'm looking into the eyes of an abused child or a neglected child, I see the gift there too. Like that representation of the real life of it.
I would have never connected with this specific individual that I just met at the gas station. That just like blah blah blah. There's no way. There's no way. I mean, I guess I could have connected. I could have related. I could have chosen into that. But I hadn't had so there's like so many connections with that it's definitely not.
And then the broader picture is that my suffering is like, the liberation from the personal story is that loneliness, that's addiction, that all of these things are something that we all feel, and then there's that broad picture of it, right? And it's just that I feel like in my life I've gone into that micro kind of space with it,
And I think like what was most liberating for me was realizing understanding rather than the need for forgiveness, which I no longer
empathy.
I no longer believe in forgiveness, because I feel like once you empathize to a place where you understand that this behavior happened because of this. First of all, you're no longer the victim, but you also don't need to forgive, because it just is. You just understand. And that's not to justify the behavior or whatever, but it is an understanding of the behavior, because there are no new emotions.
Well,
we've all felt these things.
For me, forgiveness has always been this supernatural thing, right, that comes from God. And like that's a beautiful thing to experience. But the deep level of empathetic connection to those that have abused you and that you have put yourself in victim under in the story narrative, that place and process is liberation.
Yeah.
That's where the questioning of how could this man like wake me, my grandfather, wake me up in the middle of the night and torture me? Like, how could this person do that? Well, that answer became clear to me when I had the courage to be him.
Right.
To step into his experience.
You find that in yourself.
Yeah, and it takes massive amounts of
courage.
Total courage.
Sure takes courage.
And also it takes giving yourself permission to be liberated from the story. And that for a lot of people is that you're not ready for,
leave the story to see the fullness.
Yeah, forgiveness is like, okay, I'm constantly back into the narrative. When the narrative arises,
I forgive you.
Yeah, I'm gonna forgive you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give you this.
I'm gonna give you this.
But wait. I'm gonna give it to myself.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna give it to you. No, I'm gonna give it to myself. No, God told me to. Well, if you're a good Christian or whatever, then you do. Like, there's so many
And it's all good. I mean, I love that whole part of it.
The stories around forgiveness are too intense for me, and it didn't work for me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to gift you with my forgiveness. I just don't. I just need to understand your behavior. And if once I understand, there's no forgiveness needed.
Yeah, but sure, that sure does feel good when you're on your knees in front of the altar and you're praying for forgiveness. I remember those days. And I remember how liberating that experience was for me too. Like that whole process
I
inside of
feel
me
like
is
that's a
still
victim thing.
it's still very real. Yeah, it is a victim because obviously like there was a part of me that was so broken that was like, yeah, I am messed up and I do need
You know
your
what
God.
felt good about stuff like that to me when I was on my knees praying, like for forgiveness, was the tears and the release.
Yeah, all of
That's what felt good.
all of
The
it.
release.
All of it felt good to me, and that feeling and experience is something very powerful, and I feel like it's valid and it's to a certain extent enough for a lot of people, and that's fine too. Anyway, we're going off here like completely talking, and I want to give you guys like some space, and I'm not. Oh man, I think Michelle left. Oh my gosh,
Why?
I don't know. I don't know, where is she? Anyway, let's
Is she or is it on a different page?
I don't know where she's not here any longer. She probably had something come up. So I'm gonna go ahead and unmute everybody, okay?
I hope this recorded.
It did record.
Okay, good. Because
It did totally record. And I want to get some feedback going here. Cynthia, wait. Can you guys unmute yourselves? Oh, wait, I'm gonna unmute all. There we go.
Yeah, that's good.
Perfect. Everybody
Hello.
here?
Hello,
Hello, hello.
Sarah.
Oh, beautiful. Hi, Sarah.
Can you take
Hey.
the back off?
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I don't know how to take the screen off.
No, I just want to see them.
Yeah. Oh, this one. Okay.
There we go.
There we go. Okay, cool. All right. And let's see here if we can go. No, that's not it.
You still haven't figured out the thing.
I have not. There we go. Woo! We did it! Yay! All right. Who would like to go first here? And I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but yeah, we've just been, we get on these rolls sometimes. All this stuff starts coming out. Anyway, it's good to give you all some time to process and come back from the guided imagery. And I'm really interested to hear how tonight's guided imagery went. So would someone like to raise their hand or go first? I think Cynthia, you're first on the list. If that works for you, are you open?
Yeah. Yeah,
Perfect.
can you hear me? I have a new headset. Okay, cool.
You're great. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and I was actually a little distracted. Long story short, we had a stray cat give birth, and now I'm fostering the stray family. We just got them in our house. Right now they're in my closet.
Wow.
And so today was kind of crazy, and like the meditation, like the little kittens kept popping in my mind, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I really gotta. So anyway, and we're trying to get the mama cat back inside the house too. So I might have to leave early because she's been having issues with our neighbor and their house cat, and they got in a fight today. It's been it's been kind of wild, but so I apologize if I do end up leaving early, but I appreciate this opportunity to go first or second to go next.
Yes.
Yeah, this one, it was very lighthearted for me. Last week, oh my gosh, there were so many tears and whew, it was a lot of different sensations. But yeah, my mother's mother is still with me on this earth. So it was interesting to connect with her, and she it was really, I saw her in a way that I never thought I'd see her. Like it was very kind of native. Like I felt like we were back in our like native clothing and living in like the forest again. She was born, I think, in Guadalajara. Um, and so it was just like really, it was really wild to kind of, it was almost like I was chasing her. Like she was having me follow her, but she was running and like moving around the trees and underneath like fallen trees, and just it was really interesting. And she right now she's always had this passion of doing flower, how would you say, arrangements. And she's really good. She's done it for, I don't know how long, but she's done it, I know, for my whole life. And it was interesting to see her build altars around nature where I was following her. And there was a point where everything felt really lighthearted and really open and kind of magical and fun and adventurous. And then there was a time where the drums started coming in and the sun had set and the moon started rising, and then it was almost like I can see her fangs kind of come out, and she started running faster and faster, and I was like just trying to keep up with her, and she came to this lake and she just let out this huge roar towards the moon, and I could just sense all of this anger just coming right out of her, and I was like, whoa, like it reminded me of all of this really dense heaviness that I can feel, especially from my mom, that I never quite or I just starting to notice when I say never and always and all of that. So I've just been really confused as to where all of the anger and kind of resentment and rage has been coming from. And so even though my relationship now is still kind of lighthearted and kind of more on the surface level, like I felt kind of the belly, like the really the depth of it just kind of rush out of her. And it was interesting to really to be surprised by it. And afterwards I asked her if I needed to know anything in this moment, and she said it, I think she said, cuídate de tu mamá.
Mm.
Is that like take care of your mother?
Mm-hmm.
Or, okay. Because at first, it sounded like she said cuidado, like be careful. Is that, is that the translation for cuidado?
My Spanish is so poquito.
Yeah, me too. So because
Cuidado.
I thought she at first said cuidado de tu mamá, like almost like be careful of your mother. Or I was like, oh wait, was that right? And she's like, like, and then I thought I heard her say, take care of your mother. So it was this weird, like, what did you just say? Kind of a thing. And so I don't know. I mean, maybe I can hold both of those just to kind of sit with like, take care of your mother and be careful of your mother. Because honestly, it's like I'm kind of battling with that, right? Like presently. I've always
Now,
I've been struggling with that for a long time of like wanting to feel connected with her and like have a healthy relationship. Yet whenever I spend enough time or whenever I spend a certain amount of time, I get really triggered, and it's like we just end up arguing, and it's like I could feel my energy just drain out of me. And now I've learned that, when I'm with someone, regardless of who they are, if I feel my energy drain, I need to take some space and just kind of get myself back to kind of at least equilibrium before I engage again. And so it was an interesting message to kind of sit with, of like, be careful or take care or both. And yeah, so that was kind of like the last thing that I was pondering with. But aside from that, it was a really, really beautiful experience.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah, I really feel it's important for all of us as we do this work to really understand the limits of our relationship and to understand and to feel into what a healthy relationship looks like. We know that we are in relationship with our sacred seven. We're always going to be in relationship with them, whether or not the physical form of them is in our proximity or not. And that's what this work is about uncovering how you create those relationships to serve your process. And I, stand with you in that process of you really feeling into how your relationship with your mom is a relationship that serves you and your daughter and your life, and how you're able to maintain her to the optimal place, and holding the fortification of that energetic architecture in your life and how she serves you. The revelation that comes from the mother's mother in this place of questioning, right? Take care of her, watch out for her. It's like so revelatory. And I really believe that there's going to be even more that will come through in this week, in sitting with that and really asking yourself, where did that come from?
Right, and I wonder, like, what feels more relevant to you? Take care of your mother or be careful? What feels more true for you?
Well, what comes forward is take care. And I know what, like, I'm aware that my mother's primary like love language and the way that she feels most connected to people is quality time with them. And so even when I take space or don't talk to her a lot, it's like I can feel that it kind of eats away at her a little bit. But also it's like I I'll try to kind of engage and be there, even if it's just surface level, like talk about the weather, whatever. But there's a certain point that I've noticed, like the little cues that I can tell, whether, yeah, there's just cues that I pick up where I'm like, oh, if I start to get too attached or kind of carry on with that conversation and that energy, then we tumble into an argument and a fight. So
Do you
it's like
think
I,
there's a way that you can take care of her and yourself?
that's where I'm at right now. And right now, primarily, I've been very focused on myself and my family. Yet I do feel the urge to want to reach out to her and let her know that I do care. At the same time, when I do reach out, I do want to have that also the secondary, like, oh, be careful when it gets to a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if after sort of like the space you've taken and really ground into yourself and centered yourself, if you won't need to be as careful because it may just come forward in a different way because you have new boundaries and you have a new way of being. So it may be when you go to interact with her in even in a small way, just to talk about the weather, or a deeper way that the dynamic of the relationship has changed enough that you don't have to be careful. Maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely want to feel into it and kind of explore it some more because I have been taking better care of myself. And I noticed I kind of, especially when Lily's birthday came around, and so I was talking to her a lot more and such, that it felt a little more comfortable and I felt more grounded and like I was able kind of to also, I've been doing a lot of work on detaching myself from her stories, like getting to know what my stories are and my beliefs, and also noticing what her stories and her beliefs, and not getting entangled in them.
Right.
And so that's been really helpful actually. And that was a big kind of turning point for me. And so now I think I want to kind of re-engage and start video calling her a little more and just starting to just be more available, yet still hold the boundaries when I notice, oh, it's getting sensitive. I should probably, I'll talk to you later. What, I don't know.
Right. Kind of testing
Yeah.
the water.
I know
Yeah.
one of the things that's helped me in my life and getting my needs met is, um, the practice of nonviolent communication. Like really owning through vulnerability and intimacy my own needs and how I can convey them. It's a challenging practice, and sometimes in our relationship, we're just like, you know what, we're not practicing nonviolent communication right now. We're just being children to one another. Literally, we give ourselves permission, but that is ineffective, really. But it's just like a release of
It's
emotions.
effective.
Yeah, it's effective, and it serves like the childish
It
kind of,
does. It serves the
yeah,
moment.
it serves the moment. But in relationship dynamics where you're feeling like there needs to be the necessity of boundaries, which boundaries are really, like for me, they're kind of, I feel like they're violent in nature. Like if I think about like the boundary of the United States and Mexico, or like all of these different like boundary ideas and concepts, they really, in my mind, in a certain sense, they have a level of disconnect from my own needs, right? I'm just going to put up a wall here. And in that space, right, I feel like there's a level of being intimate with myself that allows for clarification to come through of what's really going on inside of me. And this really came to me in the weirdest way. I was in prison in a maximum security federal detention facility. There was a guy that made this mouth noise, and he was in my cell. And I got so angry, jumped off of my cell and got in this guy's face and realized that it had nothing to do with him. It had everything to do with my inability to communicate to this guy. I let it go and let it go and let it go and didn't share about my needs. And also, there were triggers that didn't
Mm.
even have anything to do with him. And in order to have a trigger, right, you have to have a weapon, you have to have a gun. And that whole conversation is another place of really inside of my own process. And I'm just illuminating this to you because I care about you and giving you an idea inside of the, the conversation and chatter in my own mind about these really meaningful relationship issues that we're talking about right now. So that process of understanding how to go in vulnerably and intimacy into my own needs, it takes so much courage that sometimes I'm just like, okay, I'm not going to do that, and that's okay too. When there's value in the relationship, it has always worked for me. But it takes so much courage on my part that it's challenging at times to participate in that practice.
Yeah,
you know?
and and one thing I wanted to mention, because like it seems that you two can kind of have the agreement of like, okay, if we're gonna let our children just kind of go at it for the next 10 minutes, we have that agreement, right? Like you both are like in that. Yet when it's like my mom are at different levels of our communication ways. And one thing we did have for 6 months a professional therapist. We had a mediator, and that helped a lot just to have someone there to kind of keep the peace and give pass the talking stick of like, okay, and be able to get through a lot of heaviness. Not helped yet. At the time it wasn't free, and so it's like I got to this point where I'm like, I don't know if I want to reconnect on a deeper level until we have another therapist, because it seems like even when I try, I mean, maybe I can try to talk with her and be like, how about we try this style of communication and we can try to handle it together, but at least if we're both in agreement and know how and why we're doing it. I don't know. It's just something that
Well, if
we actually have the book, and Cody picked it up last night. He was reading it last night in bed, and I was just like, oh, I forgot about that book. And
if you're
yeah.
practicing nonviolent communication, it's going to shift the responses of others. So we don't need the whole world to talk in the same way we do. I mean, that would be great, but it's unrealistic, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like it's
It's very,
unrealistic.
yeah, it's very
But
unrealistic.
when we can communicate in a way that people hear us, they're more likely to meet our needs. So if I'm expressing in a way that's nonviolent, um, that's sharing with you what I desire, and I'm saying it in a way that you can hear, you're gonna move to meet my needs. It's just kind of human nature. Not that anyone's required to meet your needs, of course, but if you're saying it in a way that brings any kind of unintentional shame, guilt, old shit, my defenses are going to go up. I'm not going to want to hear you. I'm not going to be able to hear you, unfortunately, because that's just kind of the way our programs are. I'm not going to be able to hear you, and I'm definitely not going to be able to meet your needs. And even if I do physically meet your need, I'm not going to be able to do it in a way that feels good. I'm going to do it out of obligation. I'm going to do it out of a need for you to love me. I'm going to need to do it for you so that I feel acceptance, and those are not reasons to do something. Like, we give from our heart, right? And we give from our heart because we heard something, we heard a need in another individual that we felt good about doing. So if you're communicating in a way that she can hear that, it's going to change the dynamic. It has no choice but to change the dynamic. So you don't necessarily need her on board with it. I find that when I communicate with people in that way, they kind of tend to come on board. But what you need is to like have her hear what you need, right? Like your, I don't want to use the word boundaries because you just kind of pooped all over that word. Although
I didn't
your
poop all over that
definition of
word.
boundaries is
I
so.
did not poop all over that
Boundaries are
word.
boundaries are internal navigation. They
Yeah,
have
they
nothing
are
to do
internal
with
navigation.
external people.
That's what
so
I'm
they're
saying.
not
That's
violent.
exactly what
That's
I'm
not
saying.
what you said though. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways. Anyways.
I get it. Yeah.
Do you want to express yourself, your needs, your boundaries, or do you have another word you'd like to share other than
Well,
boundaries?
you know, the process that I'm holding, that I'm feeling into right now, is that in this space, there is your incarnation, which is on like this level of somewhat maturity, and there's, you know, this, the womb that brought you into this world, and it's kind of like this, you know, not to step into the masculine and be in the linear, but I feel this teeter totter in that space really deeply, and this light is shining on me, and I promise you I'm not that shiny, but this light is like beaming
Okay.
down on me. Anyway, what I'm feeling into in the whole space, like intuitively, is that you are here to teach this woman some very powerful lessons, and your knowing inside of your practice with her is going to bring revelation to her. Has nothing to do with her, because ultimately she's incarnated you to be her teacher. Like, she knows that inside of the knowingness of the knowing that she knows. She has made that distinction in your life that you are that teacher. But the reality is that for many of us, being taught is so vulnerable that it brings out this defensiveness. So navigating that whole idea and concept and the dynamic of the relationship is so important to both of your evolutions, because you being that teacher to her is being the teacher to the angry child that you one day may have to encounter in another role, in another narrative. She's just an old angry child in a certain sense, and I mean that with all love and respect of your mom. Like, that's what I feel intuitively is coming through for me.
And I have that too. I notice it when I come out, and especially with Lily, and I'm like, I have my own temper tantrum, and I'm like, whoa.
See, but that awareness system is a download that you brought in the incarnation. You may need to give that download to her, you know, and that's another process that only comes from practicing it. Like, you only show yourself in the awesome opportunity to reveal nature inside of you by practicing the nonviolent communication, by being present in the way that you respond to all of the different things in life and all of that. So, you know, it's a
Okay.
lot, and it came through in the east. So give thanks.
Thank you. Thank
For
you so
sure.
much.
Yes, give thanks. Elizabeth, would you like to share? Kim
Um,
and
Hi.
hello.
Elizabeth stepped away for a second. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly, Kim.
Okay, Elizabeth stepped away. She'll be back in a few, well, pretty soon. Um, I, um, I don't know. The first thing I kind of saw, which is interesting, was I saw a young boy, so seeming, um, kind of handing me something and smoke blowing in my direction, and like he was handing me, as if he was handing me a sage stick or something like that. And then after that, I just kind of fell asleep, and I don't really have anything else to share on it. I think I just went into a nice, comfortable, relaxed sleep, unfortunately, but I know I'm still getting the benefits of it. Um, I do know that I did not know my mother's mother, as I did not know my mother. My mother's mother passed away when my mother was 2 weeks old. So I did invite her into the space, but I really don't know much about her or my mother for that matter. But but I appreciate this session, and I'm sure I know we're connected, and I just don't know the ways that we are so much. I know that um, I think through this work with you, that there's a connection most of the time I haven't really thought about, just because I wasn't involved in her life. Um, so that's all that I really have. But thank you.
it's beautiful to give yourself permission to feel into the space of the void as well. And when we have an absence in our sacred seven, there's this opportunity for creation around that relationship. And I just hold witness of that process inside of you, and also the transformational energy that flows through you into your daughter's life, and how relating to your mom and relating to your mother's mother gives you that access point into more understanding of who you are and how you show up in the lives of all of your relations. So I just give thanks for that process, and also that you have the courage to rest in that space as well, to rest in the uncertainty of inviting her into your life with how you hold love for her to show up. So maybe practice, asking her to manifest herself in the form of an animal, in the form of a smell, the wind, something like that, so that you can just begin to nurture that relationship, and really allow for your consciousness to give access to her energy. And then if she does show up, for instance, if you create a lion totem around her and you look at that as this is going to be, the lioness is going to be my mom, and she's going to show up in my life whenever a lion is present. And you walk into a room and there's a poster of a lion. And right before then, you were asking yourself some questions inside of your mind, and you're confronted with this image of a lion now. Well, the importance is really listening to the narrative, right? What was going on inside of my conscious mind as creator put this lion in front of me to represent my mom? What teachings can be related to in my own life? So I offer that to you, as a way of connecting to those distant relatives within your sacred seven that may be yearning for you to reach out to them. Spiritually, she may be like within that realm, and also within your own place of needing to know more about yourself. So these are ways that we can continue the relationships in your life, and certainly they live forever in that way. So I give that gift now to you, that you use it, in a good way.
Thank
So
you.
for sure, uh, Sarah,
Hey,
hello.
how you be?
We'd be great, and we got the cards, and they're so awesome.
They're so beautiful.
Thank you.
Cried. I
Monica
actually
cried.
cried.
Yeah, she cried.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, it's so funny because you mentioned, oh, I immediately knew some people I wanted to give some of these cards to. And most of the responses I get is, oh, I was going to send them to this person and that person, but you know what? I couldn't let them go. I have them. They're mine.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
And when you had said cards to Andrew, I thought you meant tarot cards.
Oh.
Because that's my life, right? Right? And so I was just really
Surprised.
surprised in a really good way.
Oh,
What am I going to do
cool.
with another deck of tarot cards? But
Super cool.
yeah, they're very beautiful. Very beautiful. Great work on them.
Well, I was very frustrated because it took me almost 40 minutes to get into Zoom. And I take responsibility for not being able to get in there. I don't know what I was doing, but I finally went to it, like my phone, my iPad, and finally my desktop. I was able to get in. But so I didn't get in until right at the meditation. I did try to imagine my grandmother to the east, and I had a hard time imagining her because I didn't really have a relationship with her. We rarely went over there, and so I thought, okay, well, I'm just gonna imagine how I would have liked to have seen her and how I would have imagined how I would have liked her to be. So I went into the meditation with that, and went to a lovely place and some meadows and creeks, and it was good. It was short, but it was good. And I'm curious to know more about her, which I have plenty of aunts
that I can talk to about. My mother is gone, but um, she had 8 sisters. So I have plenty of aunties that I can pick their brains about their growing up and how my grandmother was. So I look forward to doing that. So,
Where did she live?
Ohio. She's
Ohio.
from Tennessee, but Ohio. That's where I grew up.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And like Cleveland or where?
Akron.
Akron. Okay.
Yeah. I used to call it Dacron, Ohio, because all the tire companies were there. Massive tire production there. But yeah. So,
So she grew up in the bluegrass. Is no wait.
No, it's in
Tennessee's
Texas.
not bluegrass. Tennessee's the Smoky Mountains.
yeah. And when I was young, we went on a vacation there. And I guess my grandpa's brother, my uncle, great uncle Willie, um, was a musician, Tennessee type musician, and my grandpa was also. And we went and stayed at his house, and it was major culture shock for me because I was a city girl, and we went to this way up in the mountains to this kind of little farm, kind of homestead place, and I remember being scared to go to sleep because they didn't close their doors or lock their doors, and I was scared to death something was going to come in and get me. And I remember we were sleeping on a feather stuffed mattress, and they cooked on a wood stove, and they had an outhouse, and I was scared to death to use the outhouse, and made my mother go with me and wait outside. And so, yeah, it was quite an experience. So I guess that's the kind of life she and my grandpa probably had growing up because they were both from Tennessee.
Oh, that's such an awesome story.
But I'm digging getting into the Sacred Seven and really, it's initiating all this curiosity about my ancestors. So I'm loving it for that. And it's also is tying into my own self-discovery. And yesterday, I think you saw the pictures, went up to Castle Lake by Shasta,
Hmm.
and it was an incredibly beautiful day. And there was big waterfalls coming down the rocks across the lake. You could hear,
Ah,
and I found out that the local natives, the Wintu and the Shasta tribes, used to consider that kind of an evil place. And it turned out that because they would hear these strange noises, but it turned out to be the ice cracking on the lake and stuff. But it was interesting to learn about that and be in that space. And I did a little ceremony and for water. I just really had water in my heart and was just super thankful for water yesterday. So,
sometimes people will put up a front that some place is scary or that it's treacherous or something like that
yeah.
because it's so beautiful they don't want to keep it to themselves.
Well, it was,
That sounds a little bit more like some Indian magic there.
you're probably right.
Yeah.
We'll get these
Yeah.
white guys out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, mess.
Yeah. They
So,
sit around the fire and laugh about it. Yeah, they think that there's some Indian burial ground up here, relative. Cut them all out. Yeah, that's probably more to the truth of the narrative about the Wintu
yeah,
and the Shasta. That's beautiful. As we, come into this place of kind of closing up our ceremony here tonight, I give thanks for all of the sharing and also for the opportunity for us to go, deeper with this week. All of us, how do we relate to new people? How do we embrace the East, the newness of the day? These are kind of the questions that Grandmother East brings up as we learn from her, about those relationships. And I feel like in my life that I've always been a person that likes new people. I've always gone out of my way. Like sometimes me and Monica will be out someplace and she'll find me over there talking to somebody about where they, grew up or whatever. Because I'm just inquisitive that way. And I've had that in my life, like my whole life. I really can't remember a time that I didn't have that curiosity about people. I know some people really struggle with new people. You know, they struggle with bringing new people into their lives or saying even hi to people when they're outside. And, you know, sometimes people look at me like, why are you being so nice to me? And, you know, I feel that. I feel that kind of gaze from people. But, you know, I think it's okay. And especially in this day and age where so many people kind of escape into their phone. You know, we look down instead of looking at each other in our
Mhm.
eyes and really kind of connecting. You know, we look down and escape that human connection. So, you know, this is a challenging time, of course, to meet new people, but it's also a time that we can use the internet or use Facebook or, you know, invite a new friend to be on our page, something like that, you know. So, wanted to encourage everybody. So, I think that I'm going to go ahead and activate this again.
I just want to mention real quick, I had
Yeah.
a funny thing happen. I got a phone call at 7 a.m. this past week, and it was from a neighbor. I didn't pick up because I didn't recognize the number. Plus, I was still in bed. And she left a message saying, "Oh, my name is Alice, and I live on Beach Street, and do you have a cat named Marley?" She said, "I have a very sweet story to tell you about Marley." So I'm like, what? What? What neighbor that doesn't even know you calls at 7 a.m. to talk about your cat, right? That was my first thought. So
Yep.
then I did call her back, and we had quite a conversation. And she's about 5 houses up the street, up the hill. And so today I decided I'm going to go meet her in person. So drove up there. Before I came home, I was coming back from an errand, and I just went straight to her house. And we just had I feel like I have a new friend. She was a really sweet woman, probably my age. And um, the thought of masks or any of that didn't come in to the conversation. It was just like, hey, oh, hi, yeah, good to meet in person. And yeah, it was awesome. So
Oh,
that's
that's
my little
great.
meet a new person story. And I'll
Oh,
let you wrap it up.
well, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. And, you know, it's a good reminder. I'll be so happy when things get back to whatever normal is after this. So, thank
Yeah.
you. And I feel like I'm living vicariously through your new friend. Yeah. All right, let me see here what we have. So, I wanted to give these, let's see, last page.
Oops.
Yeah. So I think I'm somewhere along the line. I may have lost a slide here. Ah, here it is. That's the next one. So this is the integration of the knowledge into transformation. So these are some opportunities that we can have in the East. So drawing a symbol is a great way of connecting consciously to your grandmother. You can offer a symbol by just sitting and meditating and having that symbol come through for you. In my symbol, you'll see it on the Sacred Seven. It's on the back of the book. That is each one of my Sacred Seven. There's a part of each one of them in that symbol.
So
Um,
a sigil.
yeah, sigil. Exactly. And when we journey and travel and hike on the mountains here in Arizona, almost every mountain in the valley has petroglyphs. And these petroglyphs have been looked at and meditated, and information has been brought into the consciousness through them. So symbols are very important, and they can give you an access point. Another process that you can do into bringing the uh, kind of the integration of the knowledge into transformation is to journal what the East means to you. What does this direction feel like to you when you think about the East? What kind of feelings come up? What ideas, what concepts come up? Create an altar for this aspect of yourself. And an altar can be something simple by just placing a stone on your nightstand, placing a stone in a ceremonial place,
Lighting a candle.
lighting a candle, yeah, putting out a dish of water. All of these are really powerful ways for that conscious connection, that physical activity of connecting with spirit. Journal a memory of your grandmother. You know, whatever it is that you have in your life, maybe it's even the void of not knowing her. Journal those feelings. What does it feel like to try and create a relationship with a person that's no longer in the physical? You can, of course, share on our Facebook page a video of your connection to the East. Anything that you want to do on the Facebook page, we really love and encourage. Challenge yourself to manifest a new relationship. You know, these are opportunities that we have today. Of course, living in the quarantine, it is a little bit more challenging, but it can happen. Let go of the wish I would have never met them. These are some of the ideas that create confusion and illusion and separation. When we really step into the place of freeing ourselves and allowing for sovereignty to manifest, we let go of these ideas that there isn't something to learn from these relationships.
Yeah, we find how it serves us.
Exactly. Barriers in new relationships. This week we reach out to new friends, business partners. Maybe somebody's out there that's going to help us with an idea or a concept that we're creating in our life. This is the openness of the East, and how we bring that into our lives is about this week. So very grateful that everybody came into this week, this ceremony tonight, and it was so awesome to travel into the East and to do the guided imagery meditation. Also, I did send all of you an email with a link to an MP3 of the meditation. So, Sarah, if you want to go back and visit it, you can just listen to it online.
Okay.
And I also sent everybody a copy of the audiobook. It's a very rough version of the audiobook, but you should have got that in your
Okay.
email. So, all right. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this out in prayer now, unless there's anybody have anything that they'd like to close with or something they'd like to share before we go. Okay,
Just want to
perfect.
say thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. We
Oh.
love you guys. Thank you so much for joining and being here. It's always so good. It's a highlight of our week.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to mention that the sound was a lot better.
Yes,
Yay!
I don't know
definitely.
what happened, but it was great.
I don't know either, but yay!
Big difference.
Okay,
Big
cool.
improvement.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think because maybe I wasn't playing an instrument as much and I was reading. I don't know. Something, but. Oh, you know what it is? My internet speed. That's what it is.
We fixed our internet.
We fixed our internet speed, so now we have the faster internet.
That makes
Woohoo!
sense.
Yeah. Or maybe Zoom has done some stuff too. Anyway, I'll be
Nice.
excited
Super
for the.
Cool.
happy to hear that.
Yeah, I'm very happy to hear that. Thank you.
for sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, great. So I'll go ahead and close this out in prayer here. So if you just want to ground into your prayer place, feel the earth, connect in that good way. Oh, you can smell the cedar from this altar here and just give thanks for that. Well, Father, Mother, Creator, Source, we thank you for this opportunity to be here together. And we thank you for the revelation of the East, of Grandmother. We thank you for the opportunity to get to know ourselves in a deeper way. And we thank you that this week is a week that's filled with beauty, filled with blessings. And we allow ourselves to journey now into the space inside of our hearts, to let go of the captivity and the limitations, and to allow ourselves to enter into that limitless place. We thank you for the new relationships that are coming into our life, that they know us already, and that they have a heart filled with love and gratitude. We believe in this idea of the infinite knowledge inside of ourselves, and we give thanks for love and intimacy and vulnerability as we grow together as a community. If we could just say this together: beauty above,
Beauty above,
beauty below,
beauty below,
beauty beside,
beauty beside,
beauty in front,
beauty in front,
beauty behind,
beauty behind,
beauty within.
beauty within.
I am,
I am,
we are,
we are
made beautiful again.
beautiful again.
Aho.
Amen.
Woo!
And so
All
it
right,
is.
bless it. Love you guys. We'll see
Thank
you
you
next
so
week.
much.
Woo!
Yo!
Bye, everybody.
Mhm.